it's me, Vicky Marie. As usual, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hope you're all well. I hope life's treating you well in this crazy world that we live in. Look, I've got my dog here at the side of me. Oh, thank God for dogs. That's all I can say. So, thank you, as always, all of you that have subscribed, watched my videos, liked my videos. Special thanks to my members and people who've either sent me PayPal's, super chats, or bought me a Ko-fi. Thank you so much for helping to support my channel. Now, we are, there's evidence coming out thick and fast in this case that we're going to talk about tonight. So we're going to talk about Madeleine Soto. So for anyone who's been on another planet, I mean, if you like true crime, you know, if you follow true crime, you must have heard about this case. If you watch my channel, you'll definitely have heard about it. We've been covering this ever since it all started. And of course, this is the very, very, very sad case of Madeleine Soto, which is this young girl here, and that is her mum, Jenn, and that is her stepfather. You know, I don't know if you can call him a stepfather. He and Jenn had this sort of, seemed to be like an off-on relationship. You know, it's a very, you know, we don't really, you know, it's a very strange situation, the whole thing, really. And, you know, when I look at Madeleine's little face, it's hard to believe that she is no longer with us, because this man, this Stefan Stearns, he not only abused her over several years, but he then, for some reason that, you know, whether it'll ever come out one day, why he suddenly decided, just after her 13th birthday, and literally the day of her 13th birthday party, it's alleged, or he's been charged with murder, and he's also been charged with many, many, many counts of abuse over, you know, years, really, since she was about 8 years old. How is she always smiling on these photos? She's always smiling, looks like a normal, you know, really, that picture, it does look like a normal sort of family situation, doesn't it? And it just shows you, you never know, do you? You never, ever know what's going on behind closed doors. Doesn't matter how, you know, normal a family seem, or how together they seem, how smiley someone is. You just don't know what's going on. It's very, very sad. So it's, you know, it's in the sort of, is it the discovery phase, they call it, of the trial. So the upcoming trial of Stefan Stearns. You know, Madeleine went missing, didn't she? And then at first there was a big search for her, etc. And then when they looked on Stefan's phone, even though he'd accidentally pressed the factory reset button, according to him, which of course was a load of rubbish, they found all these pictures and videos, all sorts of things with, you know, showing that he had in fact been abusing Madeleine for quite a long time. So he was arrested on those charges, but up to then they had not found Madeleine. Madeleine was still missing, and in the end Madeleine was found very sadly deceased, just tossed like garbage at the side of a road. And then CCTV comes out. There was CCTV that Stefan had been seen driving Madeleine in his car, but Madeleine looked limp, and, you know, the police feel that she was actually dead at that stage. Anyway, if I remember, I'll link the playlist in the description box of this video, because some of you, if you're just coming into this case, you've not seen all my videos about this case, just if you might want to refresh your memory and look over, is because now it's come to the discovery stage of the trial. Then, of course, the prosecution have got to release, all the evidence they have against Stefan, so that the defence can look at it and prepare their defence. So it feels at the moment like there's a lot of information coming out, doesn't it? And that will probably may even happen now right up to the trial, whenever that is. So, but the thing that's sort of driving people crazy, I think especially, is that Jenn Soto, a lot of people think she was complicit in this abuse. That maybe she knew about it, or maybe she knew she certainly covered up for Stefan when Madeleine went missing. She's a very strange woman, I've got to admit. She's, is she, is it because of the medication she's on? She admits in this video, she is bipolar and she's on quite a lot of medication. Is that the reason why she just seems so, she can't answer a straight question, not only about when Madeleine went missing or whether she can't remember anything. I just don't know how she holds a job down. Or is she being deliberately deceptive? So this is a big talking point, isn't it, at the moment? A lot of people think she should be charged. But of course, the police have said that they're not going to charge her. Not at this moment. There's nothing to charge her with. As I say, it's not, unfortunately, it's not an actual criminal offence to be stupid. But should she be charged with something, some sort of neglect? Because it has come out and she's admitted that she did encourage them to sleep together that particular night after Madeleine's birthday. You'll hear her in a moment saying on the audio, she wanted a good sleep. So she sent Stefan and Madeleine off to another bedroom to sleep together so that she could get good sleep. So these are the sort of things that and she said that. You'll see in the video, you'll hear in the video. She doesn't say it like it's embarrassing. She says it like it's normal. But Madeleine was 13 years old. She wasn't 2. And even if she was 2, it's still not right because Stefan is not her biological father. But, if it a 13-year-old girl sleeping with a nearly 40-year-old man, I mean, come on. So, yeah, anyway, so for those of you listening to these audios for the first time, your mouth probably will drop open at some of the things she said, because mine certainly did. It's just like, what? Is this woman for real? Just weird. But anyway. So first of all, I'm just going to say hello to everybody who's here already, but then I might not be able to say hello after that because I will be watching the video, listening to the audio. Hi Maggie, hi David, hi Chumba. Oh, that's all who's in the chat at the moment. So if anybody comes into the chat, remember, I'll try and say hello to everyone. I always like to try and say hello to everyone when they come in. But if I miss you, I'm not being rude. Anyway, hello to everybody watching at home. Not everybody likes to participate in the chat, I know that. And also, hello to replay crew, people that are watching this maybe later on or in the morning. Well, I say in the morning, in the Spanish morning. So for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Vicky Marie. I'm in mainland Spain, and it is 21:42 in the evening. Okay, so first thing I want to show you is this little news article, which I hadn't seen before. It's very strange. I've not heard this before, but anyway, see what you think about this.
Details about Madeleine Soto. West 2's Bob Hazen has been going through the disturbing new evidence all morning and learned that investigators say Maddie's mother defended the man accused of killing her daughter.
In these documents, detectives say she didn't just defend Stephen Stearns, she also suggested the sexual abuse was, quote, not evil.
So she never made it.
That is Madeline's mom, Jennifer, talking with deputies, her boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, by her side. 13-year-old Maddie was missing, but investigators believe Stearns had actually murdered her after sexually abusing Maddie for years and recording it on his phone. New evidence released by the state attorney's office includes these pictures of a room in their home, room number 4, with a chain lock on the door. The night before Maddie vanished, Jennifer Soto told investigators she sent her daughter to that room to go to bed alone with Stearns.
I needed some sleep, so I asked, hey, can you guys go to the guest bedroom upstairs?
She never saw Maddie alive again, and during the search, she said nothing had seemed strange, but did offer this bit of information.
She did recently tell Stephen that she had a crush on a boy.
The evidence also includes details.
I do think that might be sort of key. You know, did she tell Stefan that she had a crush on a boy? Did he get very jealous about that? Or is that Stefan? Because a lot of people think that Madeleine might have been pregnant, and you know that will definitely obviously come out in the medical examination, but that because of her age, that's not being released. The results of that not been released to the public. Just makes you wonder if there's either two things about that. Either Stefan did get jealous, or was Stefan sort of preparing the ground? Because don't forget, this is Stefan who supposedly told Jenn this, that Madeleine had a crush on a boy, not Madeleine herself. So was Stefan sort of preparing the ground, like if he thought Madeleine might be pregnant, you know, to say, oh, it must be that boy, you know, that said she had a crush on. But it's, you know, I think Jenn, you know, the more I see of Jenn and the more I hear of her talking, actually, again, in the audio that we're going to listen to, she talks like a child herself as well. You know, she's like, she's just not, it's like, I don't know what planet she's on, literally. So, of course, I don't know Jenn as a person, you know. Wonder what she'd be like now that she knows everything. Is she still defending him? I'd like to know, is she in touch with him still? Because sometimes that happens, doesn't it? But you couldn't get your head around that, could you? That she could possibly, now that she knows what's happened, or what the police think has happened, surely she couldn't possibly still defend him or be in touch with him. But do you know what? Nothing surprises me anymore. It's possible, especially about this woman. She's either like really clever because she's putting on this act, or she's thick as, you know, she's literally so thick that she didn't realize what was going on, or not so thick, maybe not the right thing to say. So sort of deluded that she didn't realize what was going on. I mean, he is a good manipulator. I mean, got to say it. You know, that video that we watched, or that interview when he was behind her cracking his knuckles and stuff like that, I think he probably quite intimidated her. Maybe he's a big guy, or did he? You know, did he? Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just did his manipulating in a quieter way. You know, these men, they're clever. You know, like we were reading about that story, I was telling you the story of Darren Vickers, who murdered little Jamie, and then went and knocked on Jamie's parents' door and said, oh, I'm the, you know, he'd been on my bus, and then inveigled himself so much into their life that he even moved in with them, and he was their son's murderer. You know, you can't underestimate the power of these men that are good at grooming, good at manipulating, and they pick their victims. You know, I expect Stefan picked Jenn knowing that she was on another planet most of the time.
Of Soto's interview with detectives after Stearns was arrested and on the day that Maddie's body was found. It says she defended Stearns, and while she denied knowing about ongoing sexual abuse, she, quote, even at one point referred to the sex stuff as not evil, but the murder of Madeleine as evil. The detective says it appeared Soto had accepted that the victimization was happening. We also hear Stearns himself trying to explain why his phone's memory was wiped out before handing it over to investigators.
I don't know what the heck I did, but somehow during the massive OS update, I managed to factory reset my phone.
And they talked to Stearns' father, Chris, who said his son had a history of lying to them and his story didn't add up.
See, that's the other thing that's come out now is the audio of the interviews with his parents. So we'll have to go through those one day next week. You know, there's quite a lot of information there. Again, your jaw will drop open. How these parents. Stefan Stearns was nearly 40 years of age and they're still paying his phone bill. You know, they're still, you know, I'm just, oh my God, you know, he's never grown up. Stefan Stearns has never grown up. And in Jenn Soto, she was like a mother figure to him, more of a mother figure to him in my eyes than she ever was to Madeline. You know, it's just crazy. But, you know, it's also quite scary because it makes you think they won't be the only people in America or the only people in the world. You know, there'll be families like this. There'll be situations like this, girls or boys going through what Madeline's went through all over the world all the time. You know, this one has just come to a head, hasn't it? But it's been going on for years. How many other situations are there like this where people are living in these situations? Because Madeline wasn't showing any signs of it. She never told her dad. She never told her grandma. She had a big family, a big extended family. She had lots of friends. She did not tell anyone.
Before I left the house the other night, I turned to my wife and I said, do we really know Stefan? Can we honestly say we really know?
Bob Hazen, West 2 News.
All right, while Jennifer Soto has been investigated, she has not been arrested or charged with any crime, and police have not identified her as a suspect.
So, yeah, that's what we have to remember. She's not been charged with anything. She hasn't been identified as a suspect yet. So I can't see. I just don't think she's ever going to be charged with anything. You know, I can't see what they can. You know, what crime they can charge you with. You know, it's got to be a crime. You know, you can't just say, oh, you know, they've got to charge you with something. What they're going to charge you with, you know. So that's the thing. So very sad, very, very sad. Don't blur out the dog. Well, that dog's gone up now, Maggie. The other two dogs are down now, but Riley's here, but he's got to jump. If he jumps up, I'll unblur for a bit, just for him to. Are you coming up to say hello? Are you? Are you coming up to say hello? You've got to jump up. You've got to come up. Come on. No, he's not coming up. Now, so as far as you know, I think, oh my God, this, because I've got so many things to sort of tell you about with cases at the moment, because somebody very kindly sent me the affidavit about Micah Miller. So I've got a lot of, I mean, that's a massive document that I'll have to work through slowly. So there's the Micah Miller case, things to say about that. Now there's Jenn Soto, but then it'll be his parents. Evidence will come through thick and fast in this case now, I think. You know, as it comes up to the actual trial, which I'm not sure exactly when it starts, but as it goes through this discovery stage, there'll be lots of things coming up, and apart from other things that are going on, you know, there's always something happening. So yeah, but there's always something to chat about, isn't there? And trying to understand this case, I mean, I don't know why I bother trying to understand, really, because how can you understand this? You know, you can't get your head around it if you're not a person like Stefan or a person like Jenn. Because, I just think of all the mother's guilt you feel all the time. You always feel like you're not being a good mum. That's what they call it, isn't it? Mother's guilt. Every day is like, oh, am I being a good mum? Am I doing the right thing? And then you look at someone like Jenn, who's just like, God, I feel like I've spent my whole life worrying about if I'm a good mum or not. And where I don't think it's got me anywhere. And then you get someone like Jenn who's sort of literally oblivious. I just cannot imagine that you would say to your child, oh, I need a good sleep, go off and sleep with your stepfather, because I need a good sleep. I just cannot imagine saying that. I just have to have a not so good sleep. That's how many times I've not had a good sleep because of things that are going on with my son. No, it's different with his son. Like, obviously, did you sleep in my bed when he was little? But, boys, it's quite young when they suddenly just sit around, oh, no, I'm not sleeping in your bed sort of thing. That is different, isn't it, than I suppose a daughter. Because apparently Madeline didn't like sleeping alone, did she? So she had her own little bedroom, but she wouldn't sleep in it. She used to spend a lot of time in it, but she wouldn't sleep in it. So it's one thing to sleep with a mum, but another completely different thing to sleep with a stepdad. So this is just beyond me. That as much as I don't think that Jenn has done anything criminal, is still beyond me how she could just pack her off to sleep with Stefan and not think anything of it at all. I mean, even with the best will in the world, it would be in the back of your mind, wouldn't it, that, well, she's 13, maybe not, as I say, when she was younger, but at 13, it's just, anyway. I could go round in circles with it and I'll never understand it. Never, ever understand it. Okay, so now we're going to listen to the audio. So I have got the audio. I was sent the audio, but they sent it me, you have to put it all, it was all in different segments. And then I found this Fox, is it Fox video? Fox? Yeah, Fox 35 Orlando, they'd got it all in one thing. So I'm just going to put that on because it's easier. And I'll just, I won't comment much. I'll let you listen to it. There might be some times where I've just got to comment. But let me know what you think of it all.
4-011313. Can you state your full name?
Jennifer Lisette Soto.
All right, Jennifer. So I'm here to talk to you today. We're going to talk about, and you're familiar with kind of why we're talking right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me when is the last time you were with Soto?
Saw her, I'm going to say Sunday night.
Okay.
I heard her Monday getting ready for school.
So
yeah, now I just want to say a couple of times she says, when he asks her a question, she really has to think about it. I mean, and we're only talking about, if you asked me, or when did you last see, my son went missing. And if a month later, he said, oh, tell us again about when you last saw him. Well, I might have to think a bit about it then, because a month's passed and I've been through hell probably, and this, that, and the other. This is literally the next day, and she can't remember when she last saw her. She can't remember. I'm going to say, how can she not remember? I mean, I do think she was drugged up most of the time. I expect any time she wasn't at work, she was, on her medication. She gets very worried about her medication later on in this audio, when the policewoman is telling her they can't go back into the house. And the only thing she's really worried about is her medication. It was very odd.
You last saw her Sunday night about what time?
I would say 11 p.m. before she went to bed.
And you were here at home? Gotcha. And where did she go to bed? Was she in her room, your room, or something else?
She actually slept upstairs with. We have a guest bedroom. We were all going to sleep together in the same bed, but I needed some good sleep, and
It's funny how she said she was laughing when she said that. Oh, we were all going to sleep together in the same bed, ha ha ha. But I needed some good sleep. She's a real strange person because she doesn't. It's not only that she says it or thought it. She doesn't seem to think it's a strange thing to say. I don't think she thinks it's a strange thing to say. She just says it as if everybody does it. You know?
I got a new job recently. I haven't been well rested. I needed some sleep, so I asked, "Hey, can you guys go to the guest bedroom upstairs?" I knew he was gonna get her ready and.
Sorry. Okay, so you needed some good sleep. So was it about 11 o'clock?
Yeah. I sent them upstairs, and I went to bed.
She doesn't say it with any shame or any regret or, like, because that just wouldn't have happened if it was me. But let's suppose that I was an idiot like that. And I'd be saying, oh, God, I can't believe I sent her off with him. Or she doesn't give a shit. She thinks, she doesn't think it's strange. She doesn't think that the policeman's probably thinking, what? But she's oblivious to that. She is oblivious.
Bed.
Okay. And that was about 11?
Yeah.
And do you guys normally all sleep together? Because I know you said that she sleeps in your room with you typically, right?
She sleeps with me typically. Typically when he comes into town, because he lives with his parents in Northport, Florida. Mm-hmm. When he comes to town, he'll sleep in the guest bedroom.
Okay. And Stefan is the one you're referring to, right?
Yeah, Stefan.
How often does he stay here?
Oh, he moved away back in December, so I'm going to say he's visited at least 2 to.
She doesn't give a straight answer to anything. So how often does he stay here? Well, it's a simple question. I'm going to say, well, never mind what you're going to say. I mean, how often does he stay there? Why does it take so long to think about it?
3 times since then.
Okay. Why did he move away?
He was offered his dad had offered him a job, but it fell through.
Oh.
So now we're trying to get him back here.
And he just visits?
Yeah.
When he visits, does he stay for like hours, days, weeks?
I would say days. This time we had planned on him staying a whole week because I was going through training at work. So I wanted him to be here to help me with the dog.
So it's all about her, isn't it? So he was going to come for a week because I wanted him to be here to help me with the dog. I was going through training. I think she's a very selfish person, but bipolar can be a very selfish illness. I'm not saying that a good friend of mine who's bipolar, she told me that herself. It's all about her. All that matters is her. It's not about Madeline, or it's not even about Stefan, really, is it? It's about her. She wanted him there to help with the dog. She was going through training. She wanted a good sleep. It's me. What she wanted.
Help me with the training.
Okay, so this time he was planning to stay for a week. How long has he been here? Or when did he arrive, rather? this time?
I can't remember if he arrived Saturday or Sunday morning.
How can she not remember if he arrived Saturday or Sunday morning? This is Monday, wasn't it? I think, it's like I say, it's not 3 weeks later. How could you? That's impossible. I'm sorry. How that's impossible to not be able to remember if he arrived Saturday or Sunday morning. I just think that's impossible. The day later.
Okay, that's fine. Sometime this weekend.
Yeah.
So that was last night around 11. And so about what time did you hear her on Monday morning?
I heard everyone getting ready around, I'm going to say 7:30, 8 o'clock.
And was it just Steph? Who else lives here?
I have roommates.
Okay.
I have Angelica Negro, who's one roommate, and then Natalie Rosero.
Okay. And you just heard all of them, or did you hear anyone in specific?
No, I just heard, if anything, Stefan came and woke me up accidentally because,
I think at this stage, I don't think she heard anyone at all. I think she was I do think she was probably out of it. I mean, we don't know if Stefan had given her, extra sedatives or whatever. I think that's possible. I don't think she had a clue what was going on. She didn't even remember if he came Saturday morning or Sunday morning. She's not going to remember who she saw. Who she heard, she was out of it. She was out of it probably most of the time. Maybe she didn't want to admit she was out of it. I don't know. But it's because, of course, in this is the very first interview, so she doesn't know what's going to transpire later. I don't know. So there's a lot of people in that house. That sort of struck me as well. It's not like Madeline was isolated in that house with Stefan. There were people around, and all that was going on with all those people around. It's horrible, isn't it?
he was trying to let the dog out,
Mm-hmm.
and the dog gets really nervous sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to help him with that, get him on his leash. But he got him situated and took him for a walk.
Okay. Did you hear around 7 or 8?
I heard noises in the kitchen, but I'm not sure,
Not sure who it was exactly.
who it was exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
It could have been any of the roommates.
But you didn't see her leave Monday morning. Were you still in bed or still in your room?
I was still asleep, yeah.
Gotcha. What time does she normally leave for school?
Now, bear in mind, he's had to get Madeline's body out of this house and into the car without anybody seeing him. Now, I don't expect, she was only little, really, Madeline, wasn't she, even though she was 13, but still, that's, a body is a dead weight, be it even a child's body, because she wasn't a little child. I don't think she was even, awake. I just wonder if he said to her, like, oh, don't you remember, I came in with the dog, or, and he tried to sort of put ideas into her head. I don't think, because how's he got Madeline's body out of the house into the car without anybody even noticing?
Usually leave around 8:50 at the latest.
Okay. What time does she have to be at school by?
9:28 is when school starts.
Gotcha. And so I think you had said the previous night, you and Stefan had agreed that he was going to get and take her in the morning? Okay.
And they were going to stop at McDonald's and get breakfast, but she changed her mind last minute and did not want McDonald's.
Okay. When'd you find that out?
When did I find that out? When Stefan called me around 10:18 in the morning.
She has to think about everything. Nothing's coming naturally from her, is it? I think she was just completely out of it, personally.
I had stepped out to go get blood work done,
Mhm.
and he had just let me know that he just got back home from running a few errands, and that I asked, did you guys ever just stop at McDonald's? And he said no. She changed her mind. He tried convincing her a few times, but she did not want McDonald's anymore.
What time did you leave the house yesterday in the morning? Or what time did you step out, rather?
I'm gonna say around 9:30.
Had
Stefan returned at all?
Everything she answers, she goes at 9:30, like she's asking him. Was it 9:30? She doesn't know anything. She's just, I don't know. I think she's heavily in denial, and I think all the medication she's on. It's just she's just not got, and I think she's probably feeling like she's in some sort of parallel universe, like you do. So I think she just doesn't want it to be to do with Stefan. I think in these interviews and that, it's probably starting to dawn on her about things. That's the impression I get, but she doesn't. She's determined not to think Stefan's done anything.
No.
So you were there from, just so I have my times kind of right, so you woke up around 7 or 8. You saw Stefan, because you helped him with the dog, because he was letting the dog out, right?
Yeah.
And then did you go back to sleep, or were you just kind of in the room?
I laid back down and went back to sleep.
Okay. And then do you remember what time you woke up after that?
I believe I set my alarm for 9 a.m.
Gotcha. So it would have been around 9 a.m. that you woke up. And in that time, you didn't see Stefan return at all? Okay. You left around 9:30, and then Stefan called you around 10 to say he got home?
Yeah.
Cool. Got it. Okay. Did he say anything else aside from she didn't want to go to McDonald's?
About her, no. About his morning, yes. He had tried going to the vape shop when it opened right after he dropped her off from school and waited, but they never opened on time. So he came back, hung out a little bit. He came home around 10 and then went back out eventually to the vape store to go get some vape stuff.
So he left after 10. What time did you get back home for the day?
Let me check something. I want to check what time my blood work appointment is at. I'll give you more of an accurate time.
Yeah.
Okay, so my appointment was at 10:15 and it took them 45 minutes to see me. So I didn't get home until 11:15, 11:30.
Mm-hmm. And was Stefan back at that point in time?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I can't remember.
And then what did the day look like?
So she can't even remember if he was back. So he's asking her, was Stefan back by that time? I'm going to say yes. I can't really remember. What can she remember? This is a day later. In fact, this might even be the same day. Well, it's probably the Tuesday, this.
After that. It's fine.
So I did my blood work, then I came back, and then I just waited. I waited for the rest of the day until 2:30 to leave. Well, I wait in the car line, so I'm first in line to pick her up.
Yeah, that car line can be vicious. So you left approximately 2:30.
Yeah.
And pickups around 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you got there at 4, then what happened?
I waited in the car line for about 10 minutes, and she never came out. So I thought maybe I missed her. I couldn't remember if I told her I was picking her up from school that day or if she had to walk to the office.
Okay.
So I went to the office to see if she made it. She never did. I drove around a little bit.
Okay.
I drove around a little bit, looking for her. I went back to the school. The school was closed at this point. I wanted to speak to somebody at the office to see if anybody could tell me if she had been there. I think at this point I had called, before I went to the school, I actually called her best friend and I said, with you, I can't find her. She didn't walk to the office and she wasn't at school when I went to pick her up. She said she never made it. She's it's a first or second period. And I'm like, what do you mean? I dropped her off. We dropped her off close to school. And she said she didn't make it to first or second period. I said, please check with the rest of your friends. She did. She got back to me, said none of them saw her today. I emailed one of her teachers. Her teacher texted me her attendance for the whole day and told me she wasn't in school at all. That's when I knew something was wrong, and I freaked out.
Okay. Is it typical to walk to after school?
If I'm working, yes.
And where? I mean, in relation to the school, like, is it a close walk, long walk?
It's a very close walk.
Okay. So typically in the morning, or I guess before Stefan moved, did he live with y'all? So it's typical of him to be able to get her ready in the mornings and drop her to school. Do y'all tend to split that responsibility, or what does that look like?
Typically, I do it.
Okay.
This morning, because of my work schedule, because I've been so exhausted, I asked him to take over and do it, and he said he would.
Okay. Has he done it before, though? Like, is he familiar with how to drop her off? And
I'm going to say he's done it once or twice before. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Again, she's not too sure, once or twice. He didn't commonly take her to school. It was unusual for him to take her to school. She's practically admitted that herself. Now, maybe she did ask him to take her that morning because, of course, she needed a good sleep. Remember, she needed a good sleep because she had a new job, and it was. It does make me wonder, though. Would not surprise me, and it would not be the first time if Stefan was drugging her, both of them, maybe drugging both of them. Who knows? This is Stefan Stearns, who used to actually put his own, I can't even say the word because it's so revolting. This is Stefan Stearns, who used to put his own, bodily emissions in drinks and give them to people that he was at college with. He's not, he's not beyond drugging people. And I would not be surprised if he drugged Jenn and Maddie.
In the time since he's been back, well, not this time because he's only come back over the weekend, but in the other times, he's done it maybe once or twice.
I'm gonna say yeah.
Is there any reason that he dropped her off a block away instead of dropping her off to the school?
Because she asked. Because she is embarrassed of his car.
Really? When did she express that?
multiple times when we've been like, okay, I think Stefan might take you to school or he might pick you up. She goes, can he pick me up far away? Can he leave me here? Like, I don't want to be seen.
She's saying multiple times, but before she just said he'd done it once or twice.
And I'm just like,
what car does he drive? I'm curious.
it's that Buick.
Oh, okay.
But to her, that's an old
No.
car.
Fancy taste. I get it. Can you remember anything about Sunday or Saturday or this weekend where she may have said that she was wanting to hang out with friends or something she was wanting to do or anything?
On Sunday, she actually had a party and she had some friends come over.
Mm-hmm.
So she hasn't expressed that she actually got to spend time with friends and family. She had a great Sunday.
Okay.
She came back with a lot of presents. She was super happy.
Okay. So no arguments at home recently or anything?
No, nothing like that.
Has she ever
So the other thing that does seem a bit strange to me as well is, I know she's being interviewed, but at the end of the day, her daughter is missing. And I just feel if that was me, I'd be asking him questions. Like, have you found him yet? Or her yet? Have you found her yet? Where have you looked? I can't sit here and do this. I've got to get out there and search. I just can't. I think she's not asking anything about asking the actual detective anything about the inquiry, is she, or anything about the search? And I think I would be just going mad and saying, what are we sitting here for? I want to be out there in search. Don't want to be sitting here talking to you. What are you asking me all these things for? Told you, or I'd just say, right, I'd just say it as quick as possible and get out there, because I'd want to be at home and, in case she came back, or I'd want to be out looking for her. She's actually not asking him any questions, or even trying to ask him any questions. She's just waiting for the next question. Is she still all drugged up? Is she, I don't know what drugs she's on, but as I said earlier, I just don't know how she ever held down a job. Just don't understand.
in the totality of, I guess, everything, as long as she's been ever gone off to spend time by herself or gone to hang out at a park by herself or something to kind of clear her own head?
So there's a lake right behind this building.
Mm-hmm.
She'll sometimes sit at the dock by the lake, but I check on her often.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out, if I don't know if something at school upset her, something here upset her. Not that it would be anyone's fault, but if there's somewhere that she may go for, peace of mind.
Yeah, it would be the lake right behind the house.
Does she do any extracurriculars?
No.
Got it. Now, your roommates, I know you told me their names earlier, but can you give them to me again? I didn't write them down.
Sure. Angelica, and then Negro, Nigro.
Uh-huh.
And then Nathalie, which is Nathalie. Rosero.
Rosero. Okay. Do you have their phone numbers by chance? If they're not here. Are you okay? Do you have to use the bathroom?
No, I'm just anxious.
Oh, okay.
I've got anxiety. Let me see. Where is... Okay, Angelica, she primarily speaks Spanish, so you probably need a Spanish speaker.
Okay. And then Natalie. Got it. All right. When's the last time you got in any kind of trouble at home?
I'm gonna say a few weeks ago.
What was that for?
I don't think if she gets a yelling or if she gets in trouble for anything, it's for her disorganization and messiness. So she leaves laundry on the floor.
Okay.
Her room's a mess. She keeps her space very disorganized. So I kind of get on top of her. Do I remember the actual argument? No. When I went through her text messages back on February 2nd or 3rd, she had expressed to a friend that, I was crazy. I was acting, being nuts.
Almost old stuff to say.
Yeah, apparently I don't remember this in this conversation. I remember saying this once, but not in February. But she had said, if she continues to behave this way or not listen, when she turns 18, I'm not going to want to live with her.
Okay.
Or also I would ship her off to her dad's.
Oh.
But I never.
Where does her dad live?
Houston, Texas.
Okay. Has she ever expressed wanting to go back and live with them?
No.
How often does she see him or talk to him at all?
Talks to him once in a while.
Via phone or probably?
Yeah, via phone, yeah.
Okay.
Text message or Instagram, they'll message each other. But I talked to him last night and she's like, just so you're aware, she hasn't said anything about making plans to come over here or see me or come visit me, so he doesn't have any information on where she might be.
Okay.
He's actually willing to come over here too if we need him to.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think she had much contact with her dad, Madeline. So, I think, what I think? I think he's at the end of the. I feel like Madeline was just let down by everybody, including her dad. Because if that girl did not feel that she had anyone she could go to and talk to. There were loads of people she could have gone to and talked to. Why did she not feel that she could talk to anyone? And of course, though, another thing is, which is a possibility, and whether people, sometimes these, the people, the victims, they fall in love with their abusers. She might have been totally in love with Stephen Stearns, for a long time. It does happen. So sometimes that, he will have said things to her like, oh, well, if you tell anyone, we'll never be able to be together anymore. We'll never be able to snuggle. He said, oh, we used to snuggle in bed. He would have said all those things to her that, oh, your mum won't believe you or your dad won't believe you. And then, your mum will throw you out or God knows what he said to her. He's groomed her, and it may well be that Madeline, being so young as she was, sometimes victims do sort of fall in love with their abusers. And that's what I feel, that then as she was getting older, she was breaking out of that spell. Maybe she had been in that sort of bubble, where she didn't even realize that she was being abused, because he was drugging her as well. I think quite a lot of the pictures and the videos that when we read out the the information that I got from the police department, she was asleep on a lot of them, or they said who appeared asleep. So it makes you wonder if sometimes did she even know what was going on? What was he giving her? Is it possible that he gave her too much that night? Is that a possibility? Did he give her? Well, it's never occurred to me before, but it's possible he could have drugged her that night and maybe gave her too much. But anyway, it'll all come out sooner or later. He could have misjudged the dosing.
But she's never made any plans, I guess, to go see him.
No.
What's her dad's name? Do you know his phone number?
So I think it's this one.
And he lives in Texas.
In Houston, yeah.
How long has he lived? Or how long?
He was in the military way, either it's Kansas or...
Oh, so he's never had any, like, custody or anything with her?
Nothing.
Okay. And has she ever formed a relationship with him where they bond and talk or anything that, like, I guess I would try to rule out the possibility that she would be trying to go to Texas and see him or meet up with him, or...
They're as close as they can be with how limited contact he does have with her. He texts her once in a blue, right? Not as consistent as I would like him to, but
okay.
I don't think she's making her move to go.
Yeah.
She's left her debit card here. All of her money's here. Her cell phone's here.
Is it typical of her to leave her cell phone? Does she normally have it?
She's got ADHD. She's very forgetful. This happens often.
Oh, so she frequently forgets her things?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as her mental diagnosis, she's diagnosed with ADHD. How long has she had ADHD?
Since she was like 5, 6. They also diagnosed her at the same time with autism. So she's had an autism diagnosis for a few years now. I've reassessed her recently. They told me she had some autistic traits, but they weren't sure if she was autistic.
So I mean, do you ever notice her mental capacity impacting her ability to, I guess, be around other kids or function normally?
I would say sometimes, because she acts... I'm not sure. Sometimes she'll make some decisions that I'm just like, where did that come from? Like,
I mean, is that like, would that be a result of a mental disability, or would that be like a result of her being... I mean, does she... I guess, like, basic questions I always kind of ask her, can she feed herself without assistance? Does she shower and bathe without assistance? I mean, she has a phone, so she can text and talk to people. She has friends at school. Gotcha. And has she ever complained about school?
Not complained exactly. I know it's tough on her. She's given a lot of work. She's always behind on work.
Okay. Got it. And I think the deputies already last night kind of went through her social media a little bit, but if you're okay with it, I'd actually like to take her phone so that I can see if I can get anything else from it. Typically me being able to go through it and go through text and social media will help me sort of establish a pattern of where people go and whatnot. If that's something you'd let me do.
Sure. Will you take her phone away forever, or just for right now?
Just for as long as I need it to actually go through it. So I'll give it back to you as soon as I'm done. As soon as we find her, I'll give it back to her, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, that's just about all the questions I have at the moment. You know her better than I do. I guess my last thing would be like, what do you think based off of everything that we've talked about and everything that you've learned so far? Is anything sticking out to you?
Based off of everything, me knowing her and knowing how she is, and how tight knit we are. Like, I don't think she would run away.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she was taken, like on that short walk from where she was dropped off to the school.
Yeah, how tight knit we are. How tight knit we are. I don't think she was taken. I think she was taken on that short walk from where she was dropped off to school. She didn't think she'd ran away. You know, she's, I don't know, she's determined not to think, at this point in time, she's determined not to think it's Stefan, even though maybe in her head it was clicking over. She's determined. She's in complete denial.
It was early in the morning. I'm not sure how many cars were around.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was dropped off somewhere between 8:30 and 8:45 in the morning, which is earlier than we normally take her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I want to say, from what I understood, Orange County got footage of someone by the church in a description of what she was wearing early that morning,
Mm-hmm.
just hanging out in the parking lot, and then she got up and left.
Yeah, now we mustn't forget that initially the police had said they thought they'd seen Madeleine there. So she's, not suspecting anything to do with Stefan is sort of logical at the moment, really, from what the police have told her. So the police have said that they saw someone matching Madeleine's description in that area where Stefan had supposedly dropped her off. So I think we've got to remember that as far as she knew at this point that she's given this interview, Madeleine had been captured on CCTV, dropped off, as Stefan said. And don't forget, she didn't know yet about the other CCTV that the police came up with later, with Madeleine in the car looking like she was already deceased, etc. So maybe we've got to think about, so if you'd been told by the police that they thought they had Madeleine on CCTV in the area where Stefan had said he dropped her off, then maybe that's part of the reason why she's not, believing it's to do with him yet.
Yeah, so the video, they wrote it here, but there was a video of essentially what looks like her at around 8:45, just about that time, walking into that church.
So this policeman here that's interviewing her, he's confirming it. There was CCTV of someone who looked like it was her. So, Jenn will be hanging on to that and thinking, oh, it can't have been Stefan because she's been seen. Let's just listen to that again.
Social media will help me sort of establish a pattern of where people go and whatnot. If that's something you'd let me do.
Sure. Will you take her phone away forever or just for right now?
Just for as long as I need it to actually go through it. So I'll give it back to you as soon as I'm done. As soon as we find her, I'll get back to her, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, that's just about all the questions I have at the moment. You know her better than I do. I guess my last thing would be like, what do you think based off of everything that we've talked about and everything that you've learned so far? Is anything sticking out to you?
Based off of everything, me knowing her and knowing how she is and how tight-knit we are, like, I don't think she would run away.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she was taken, like, on that short walk from where she was dropped off to the school. It was early in the morning. I'm not sure how many cars were around.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was dropped off somewhere between 8:30 and 8:45 in the morning, which is earlier than we normally take her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I want to say, from what I understood, Orange County got footage of someone by the church in a description of what she was wearing early that morning,
Mm-hmm.
just hanging out in the parking lot, and then she got up and left.
Yeah, so the video, they wrote it here, but there was a video of essentially what looks like her at around 8:45, just about that time, walking into that church parking lot that's right near where she got dropped off by Stefan. And it looks like she sits there for about 15 minutes or so and then walks away. So
I'm wondering if it's typical for her to wait at that parking lot too for my stepdad to pick her up from school. So it's not abnormal for her to hang out there.
In that parking lot?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you think of any reason why she might have chosen yesterday morning to wait there? I mean, obviously, your stepdad's not picking her
he
up
wasn't
in the
picking her
morning,
up.
but
I wonder if she knew, like, if she had an idea she was super early, so she was just trying to kill time a little bit. But I don't know why she didn't go directly to the school. Like,
yeah.
She should have.
Okay.
I know when Stefan dropped her off, he said that he saw her rummaging through her phone as he drove away, like deeply looking into her backpack.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she was looking for her phone and realized she didn't have it with her at that time.
Got it.
But
Okay. Does she have any kind of boyfriend or significant other at school that she's ever talked about or expressed?
No boyfriend. She did recently tell Stefan that she had a crush on a boy.
Oh, okay.
And we saw messages between them, and nothing seemed weird. But you can
Okay.
look through that as well. His
Thank
name
you.
is
I assume another middle school boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do they Stefan and Stefan out here?
Yeah, they're right out there. They just wanted to ask him a couple things, but I figured I'd just ask you this at the same time for the sake of time. Do you recognize this vehicle at all? I wanted to see if I could. So I know it's pretty grainy. It's this one right here. That one's tough, but does that look familiar at all?
No.
You wouldn't know that anywhere?
I don't know that part.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is it's hard to show you on my phone because the quality of the video just kind of gets worse when I've downloaded it from the church's computer, and the quality just gets kind of worse. Can you make out like the shape of that being black shorts and that being possibly a green jacket?
I see the green.
Would that, I mean, I know it's very difficult to recognize, but would that be something, some clothes that she owns, or
Yes.
would the quality be too bad for you to be able to tell based on that?
I mean, the quality's terrible.
Yeah.
The color scheme.
Would that be akin to something that she owns?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And the hair looks a little dark in from here.
Dirty blonde. It could pass for dirty blonde.
That could possibly be her. Okay. Is that? I can't tell just from looking at it, but is that Stefan's car? It looks a little darker from there, but I almost can't tell. Like,
yeah, I'd forgotten about this CCTV. That did confuse things in the beginning because it looked, I remember now, that at first it looked like she had been dropped off and there was CCTV to prove that she had been dropped off. Even though, like they're saying, it's very grainy, but what she's saying is she can't really, it's terrible footage, but it looks like it could be her. But, they never said it definitely was her. But it did throw, it did sort of colour the mix a little bit, didn't it? I think in the beginning the police felt, till they started looking at all the other CCTV that they've looked at, they did, I think everybody thought that Stefan's story originally, his first, was true because of this, whoever this girl was, or boy it might have been, because the footage was so bad that could possibly have been Madeleine. It sort of confused everything in the beginning. And it was as if maybe Stefan's story was correct until, of course, turned out it wasn't. So, yeah, we must remember that. So as far as when Madeleine's doing this, Jenn's doing this particular interview, as far as she's concerned, Madeleine has been caught on camera in that area and she was dropped off.
if it's a Toyota or looks a little different.
From the front, it looks different. That looks like a Toyota from the front.
From the front, it looks different, right?
And then from the side, It could be.
It's got a little.
Cadillac.
I mean, yeah, the grill is kind of the same. A little bit. The headlights look the same. Okay, cool. And I just wanted to see if you kind of were able to help me with that. So this whole living in the woods thing, I have people like tromping through the woods right now on horses and ATVs and all sort of things. But has she ever mentioned that before?
Just in that text that I saw.
Just that's the only time you've ever heard of it? Is she outdoorsy at all? Does she like camping?
We used to go hiking.
Okay.
But we haven't done that in a while.
Okay. Where did you go? Was it around here?
Where would we go? We go hiking in like St. Cloud. Lake Lizzie Preserve is what it's called.
Oh yeah. Well, that's not too far.
It's about 35 minutes away.
Yeah. Okay.
On 182. Lake Lizzie Preserve. We've also walked Shingle Creek before, but we haven't done that in a very long while.
Got it.
But no, I know the thing is, I started talking to her about World War III. I was talking about, like, hey, this is going on in Palestine and Israel right now.
Oh, so you're talking to her about the wars.
I was telling her, I was talking to her about just what's happening politically, and I'm like, you know, I don't know what that means for us, but we'll see what happens. But I've talked to her about World War III, so that's what I'm just saying.
How long ago is that?
Yeah, and I think this going to live in the woods thing, I think they make too much of that because, you know, kids say things like that, don't they? Especially if they like outdoor, I'm going to go and live in the woods. I'd quite like to live in the woods. I'm sure I said that when I was young as well. So I think they make too much of that. It's just a throwaway remark, in my opinion. There's no, we don't know that she didn't seem to be unhappy at home. You know, obviously she was going through all that, but as I say, victims often, they don't realise exactly what's happening to them. He was buying her things, he was grooming her, he was treating her nicely, you know, and sometimes victims do fall in love with their abusers, or at least they don't really, you know, if he wasn't aggressive towards her, let her do whatever she wanted, bought her things and that. And probably some of the time she didn't even realise she was being abused because he drugged her. I think that go and live in the woods thing is just sort of isn't as important as sometimes they make it out to be.
Is that something that might have impacted her?
Yeah, I feel like
okay.
That's why when I read that conversation, I'm like, oh, that's directly related to me talking to her about what's happening in Israel, Palestine, and the potential World War III that might happen from that.
Okay.
And that's why she said she wanted to go live in the woods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. No, just wanted to figure out where that might have come from. Maybe help me see if she just wanted to be in the outdoors.
Definitely, the World War III conversation, that's definitely me.
Okay.
That was me.
It's fine. It's fine. So one thing that I think I may have misheard you say earlier, but I want to make sure that I have it absolutely clear, is on Sunday night, y'all went to bed around 11, and the reason that you sent her upstairs with Stefan was because you had work in the morning, was it? Or you just started a new job?
I just started a new job, and I haven't been sleeping well. I take psychiatric meds every night for my bipolar disorder, and if I don't take them the right way, eat, and go to sleep on time,
they don't work. Gotcha.
So I was just like, hey, I really need these meds because I forgot them the night before. I forgot them, I think, Saturday night. So Sunday I was not myself. So I asked them, like, hey, I need to be medicated. I need to sleep. Can you take care of the morning duties so I can go and sleep?
Gotcha. All right. No, I just wanted to make sure I understood you right, because I was like, did you have work in the morning? Or I didn't write that down, and I wanted to make sure I heard you okay. Are there any cameras in the neighborhood that you know? Does anyone have any Ring cameras? Do you have any security cameras out front?
I'm gonna say there are cameras in the front. There are cameras in the back gate as well.
Okay.
I know one neighbor around here has a Ring camera, but I didn't watch anything like that.
Okay.
Hey, Jay, how are you?
And if you don't mind, just try to keep people out of because I have a canine that's coming. If you don't mind, they're going to try to run another track from the church and from here to see if we can maybe just try it again. You know, last night it didn't work out because the dog lost interest and they weren't able to continue. But I figured, you know, it's worth another try. The dogs are pretty good, so just try to keep them out of her room. We're probably going to use like a. Does she have dirty laundry or like
the dirt? Her most recent dirty laundry is on my bathroom floor, and we've walked around it. We haven't touched it.
Okay, just keep people off of it.
Yeah.
Just let and as much as you can, try to avoid crowding the front door for the dog.
Yeah.
So that they know where to go from. Okay.
Just let me know when they're coming.
Yeah, I'm gonna get. They're gonna call me when they're on the way. But just as much as you can, try to keep the scent pretty fresh. There you go. Cool. All right. And another thing I just wanted to confirm, because I know the last night was a long night, but you said you said when you woke up around 9, you left your house at 9:30 for your doctor's appointment, and Stefan hadn't come home yet, and then he called you at 10. You were
At like 10:15, yeah.
10:15ish to have the conversation. McDonald's and
yeah, she didn't want McDonald's. So he came home. I think he had accidentally left his phone at home.
Yeah.
So he was just letting me know because I had called him multiple times. So he was just returning my call, going, "I'm so sorry, I left the phone at home. I went to the vape store. I waited there for a little bit. Nothing. Nobody was there. He came back home for a little bit and then went back out to the vape store.
And then what time did you get home again? Was it around 11?
Let me see. I'm going to say around 11:15.
Because I think if I heard you right the first time, you got home at 11 and you and Stefan were both here, and then he left to go to the vape store again.
I did see him. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I had that because, like I said, sometimes you forget to write things down, and I don't want to misremember. But okay, that's all I have for you right now. We're still looking. I mean, that's unfortunately the best update I can give you. Is we're all out. We're everywhere. Asking people and looking, and I know your family's also doing the same. So if you get anything new like that thing you sent me just a little bit ago that I can look into, just keep on sending them to me, okay?
Yeah. Were any of those helpful about the vehicles?
There's something for me to look into, to look for license plate readers and stuff. As of right now, I haven't been able to find anything else or confirm it, but I mean, it's still helpful for me to, in case something else comes across in the future. So, if you receive anything else, let me know. But I mean, do know that obviously, just like that kid pranked you earlier, because it's so public, you're gonna have kids doing that. So, don't be too scared by it if someone does that again. Okay.
Well, I wonder who pranked her. So he said that kid, because it's so public, if that kid pranks you, well, she must have had to move out of that house because, like the Proudfoots with Sebastian Rogers and that, like people get ideas into their head, don't they, and think they can go around and, whatever anyone thinks of Jenn or doesn't, at the end of the day, she's a mother whose daughter has been murdered. She's got a lot to go through. People shouldn't go and, but everybody knows where she lives. So she must have moved out of there, must have moved out of that property because people will go around and shout nasty things at her, which they shouldn't do because, she's not been charged with anything at the end of the day. Whatever people think, she's done this, she's done that, or what she hasn't done, she hasn't actually been charged with anything. It's the same with Sebastian Rogers and Katie and Chris Proudfoot. Everyone deciding, that they were murderers, and there's nothing to say that they are, and the police are not considering them as such at the moment. You have to wait and see what comes out.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll let you know when they get here.
4-11313. Today's date is February 27th, 2024. The time is 23:32 hours. Gonna speak with Jennifer Soto. Hey, Jennifer. I haven't introduced myself. My name's Myra Tagler. Okay, I'm a detective with the Sheriff's Office. Do you mind if I talk to you? Do you mind if we talk over there by the car? Can I be up inside? That's fine.
Where? Inside the house?
In the car.
Now, this is an interesting interview, I think, because this is a new detective, a woman, who's coming over. What she said, it was about 11:30 or something, didn't she? Come over to talk to her. Now, of course, Jenn had got used to the other detective. She'd been talking to the other detective, And now this woman's come up and she introduces herself, and she's part of the missing persons unit, and the investigation has gone up a notch. And you can tell as she's talking to Jenn now, Jenn's not, it must feel weird really, because one minute you're dealing with one detective and then suddenly somebody else comes up, and she seemed to have sort of quite relaxed with that first detective, didn't she? But I think with this interview now with this woman, it's a little bit more fraught.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, look at the baby. Does it lock?
No, it should be fine.
Okay. Over here,
Are we
please.
going to be able to go back home soon?
I'll explain it in a second. Okay?
So that sounded like Stefan in the background asking if they could go home soon.
I have a question too before we get started. Somebody said something like somebody in here has a gun. Is that a true statement or a false statement?
That's a true statement.
Okay, where is this gun at right now?
It is upstairs in the guest bedroom.
It's not like
So yeah, it turns out there's a gun in that guest bedroom.
in any of these cars out here.
No, I don't believe so. I think it's upstairs in the guest bedroom. Bedroom number 4. It's got a number 4 on it.
Okay, how certain are we of that?
As far as I know, the gun is inside upstairs. I haven't heard of it being in the car.
Okay. Let me just move my purse.
If you want to take
I could be incorrect. I'm not sure.
If you want to start the car and just give me 1 second.
Yeah. Let me make this. I know it's not the most comfortable, but at least you won't be cold over there.
Yeah.
I get cold super easy.
Yeah, I get hot the same way, so I understand. You want to take a seat right over here, and then she's gonna. Don't worry about the. Swap it. Start it up.
Do you have your keys on you?
Here, have it a little closer, just in case.
Sorry, this isn't my car. There we go. Okay, so I'm not sure if he introduced himself, but his name is Luis Acosta. Okay. We both work for Orange County Sheriff's Office. So I understand you spoke with the other guy earlier with Detective Frank Hunt. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We have officially taken over the case, okay? So
Are you guys with Kissimmee?
No, we're with Orange County. It's just a different unit.
Oh, okay. What unit are you with?
We're with sex crimes.
Okay.
It's just because of her age and.
So it all steps up a beat, doesn't it? So she says, "What unit are you in?" And she says, "We're with sex crimes." And Jenn goes, "Oh, like that." There's a big sigh. So I don't know if she's still thinking there that Madeline's been taken, or is she now starting to think, Has she been told now that that CCTV was not Madeline in the car park after all? You know, but it's just, you just feel with this woman now when she's interviewing her, it's completely different from when the guy was interviewing her earlier on. He was being quite gentle with her and that, but this woman's a little bit more businesslike, I think.
Is why we take over. Does that make? I know it's kind of confusing, but like we have like different rules, in Orange County, and depending on like people's age, we sometimes take over investigation when it comes to missing persons.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, when you talked to him earlier, I kind of got like a brief synopsis of what happened. I understand you have a new job.
Yes.
Okay. And if I say anything that's incorrect, please correct me. Okay. You have a new job. And last night you asked them to go sleep upstairs because you wanted to get rest. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What time was this? Do you remember? It doesn't have to be like exact time, but like just. Oh, and then yesterday she had Sunday she had her birthday party, right?
Sunday she had her birthday party.
Okay, what time was that party at?
It started at 3:00.
Okay, from 3 to what time?
I'm not sure. I wasn't there. I was at work.
Oh, okay, you weren't there.
But I know my sister got home around 8:30.
Was Stefan here at that time?
I'm not sure if he was here at the time, but I think he got here a little bit after. And he was like, okay, she was already doing what she was supposed to. She had taken her nighttime meds, and she was getting ready for bed, like taking a shower. She'd take showers at night. So he's like, okay, she was already on it.
Oh, she'd taken her nighttime meds. Just makes you wonder, had he doubled up her meds or whatever?
I didn't get home until, I'm going to say 10:30.
Okay.
And then at 11, I sent them to bed.
Did Stefan make it to the party?
No.
Okay. And then once you get here, you said you sent her to bed at 11. And the following morning, well, I'm sorry, let me backtrack a little bit. You send them upstairs, right? How many bedrooms are upstairs?
3.
Okay. Where?
In bedroom number 4.
Okay. And what about Stefan?
Bedroom number 4.
Okay. Is it normal for both of them to sleep in the same room?
Sometimes. When I really need a good night's sleep, I will send them upstairs. But when also a lot of times we will sleep together in the king size bed, all 3 of us. Or sometimes Stefan will go upstairs and in our bed alone. So it just really depends on what's going on that night with our schedules and what we're doing.
Okay, where were you sleeping?
Downstairs in the king size bed.
Okay. Is it just you two here? Well, you guys have a roommate, right?
We have 2 roommates, and one of the roommates has a son who's here like a little bit more than half the week.
So what rooms do you guys use?
The room downstairs, the master bedroom downstairs, and room number 4.
Okay. So it wasn't last night. It was the night before. Stefan slept in bedroom number 4 and you slept downstairs.
Yes.
In the master. Okay. What time did you wake up?
I'm going to say around 8:00 in the morning. Stefan came into the room and was trying to put the leash on the dog. Somewhere between, I'm going to say somewhere between, he came into the room somewhere between 8 and 8:15. He came in to put the leash on the dog, and I got up to try to help him because my dog is kind of a nervous dog, and I didn't want him to pee on the bed. So we wrangled him, put him on his leash, and he said, "Go back to sleep." And I said, "Okay." So I laid back and went back to sleep.
Okay.
I heard people in the kitchen. I'm not sure exactly who was in the kitchen. As far as I know, I came downstairs to get ready in her. So she's got
She's kind of got a bedroom in the living room. If you go into the apartment, you'll see there's like a.
Just makes you wonder, doesn't it, how he got Madeline out without, when she was dead. How did he get her out and into the car? Or did they have an underground garage or something? But he's still got to carry her down there.
One of those fake walls. Separating half the bedroom. She's got like a desk with a bedroom and a TV and a dresser. But she'll hang out there during the day, but she never sleeps there. She always sleeps with me. And then the rare occasion upstairs. But most of the time it's with me.
Okay. Did you see her on Monday morning?
Visually see her? No.
Did you hear her?
I heard many people in the kitchen. I'm not sure if it was my roommate or her specifically.
Okay. Is your roommate a male or a female?
Female.
Okay.
They're both females.
When was the last time you physically saw?
Wednesday, 11 o'clock. I'm sorry. Sunday, 11 o'clock.
Sunday when you sent her to bed. Okay. Well, and then when you woke up, you said you woke up briefly because Stefan went in there. Did you go back to sleep?
Yes.
What time did you get up?
Let me see if I actually have my alarm set. No, I don't have the specific day on there. Let me check something real quick. I'm pretty sure I woke up around 9 o'clock in the morning. And then I left at 9:30.
I had an appointment.
I had a doctor's appointment at like 10:15. But they took a while. And then by the time they did my blood work and whatever, I think I got home somewhere between 11 and 11:15.
Okay. When you got back, was Stefan here?
I'm pretty sure he was, yeah.
What was he doing?
Just sitting in my room. At my computer desk on his phone.
Okay. What did you guys do?
We chatted for a little bit. I asked him what had happened because he had called me earlier at 10. Let me see. Pretty sure he called me around 10:18.
What did he call you for?
To let me know. To let me know that they didn't go to McDonald's as planned. He had asked her multiple times if she wanted to stop at McDonald's because that was the plan the night before. That they were going to wake up early. He was going to take her to McDonald's, do like a special McDonald's breakfast, and then drop her off at school early because she wanted to get there a little early. But on his way to school, she was very sleepy and wanted to sleep in the car. And she said she did not want to do McDonald's. She just wanted to be dropped off.
Okay.
Also to let me know that
somehow I feel that by now this policewoman that's talking to her from the missing persons unit knows now, has seen or been told about the CCTV of him having Madeline in the car. Just feels like that a bit, doesn't it?
He left his phone at home because I had called him multiple times and he hadn't picked up. He had left his phone at home by accident. He had went to the vape shop, but they didn't open on time, so he had waited for quite a while in front of the vape shop. They didn't open, so he left and came back, and we hung out a little bit, and then I think he left again to the vape shop to go buy what he needed.
Okay.
Do you want the name of the vape shop?
Yes. If you have it at the top of your mind, I'm sure we're going to talk again soon, and we'll have more.
No, I'm just saying because that might be helpful if you want to see like surveillance or anything.
Okay, so at some point, I understand he gets like a flat tire, and he's not able to go with you to pick school.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And when you get to the school, how do you realize that she wasn't there?
So I left her. I usually leave around 2:30 to pick her up. She gets out of school at 4. So I wait it takes me about 20, 25 minutes to get to the school, and then I wait about an hour for her to get out. I waited the whole time. And then when the bell rang and then it was time for her to come out, she wasn't one of the first kids like she normally is. And I realized I was holding up the line because everyone behind me had children and they needed to get out because I was the first in line. So after about, I'm going to say, I think it was like 4:10, she didn't come out and I was holding up the line. So I drove away. I said, maybe I forgot to tell her that I was picking her up that day because I don't know if she knew that I wasn't working that day. But I had assumed that she thought, she knew that I was going to go get her. So because she never came out, I left and I went. She works less than, let's say it's like a 3-minute drive from the school. It's very close. She works in the Hunters Creek Villages area. I drove that way and I drove along the path that she would walk and I didn't see her. And then office, I asked, hey, has she gotten here yet? They said no. And I said, okay, let me wait a little bit. And I parked back again on Hunter's Park Lane, I think. And I waited along that lane to see if I would see her walking. And I didn't see her walking. And it was about 4:30, 4:35. At this point, she should have. So I went back to the office. And then I was like, is she here yet? No, she hasn't gotten here. And I said, okay, hold on. Let me see. I called her best friend. And I was like, hey, are you... I don't know if I told her I was picking her up from school today or to walk to the office, but I don't see her anywhere. And she goes, no, she never came to school today. She didn't come to first or second period. And I said, what do you mean? We dropped her off close to school. She should have walked to school. She goes, no, she never made it to any of her periods. And I said, can you please check with your other friends in your other classes to see if she ever made it? She got back to me and said no. At this point, I started to panic because I realized something was wrong. I emailed one of her teachers, a few of her teachers actually, and one of them responded to me. He said she didn't make it to his period at all, and he checked all her other classes, and she didn't make it to school at all. That's when I knew something was truly wrong. And I'm not before that email or after that email. But I started panicking and freaking out because she should have been to school. She should have made it.
And then I understand she forgot her phone, right?
Yeah.
Is it common for her to not have her phone?
Yes. She's got ADHD. She's super forgetful. She never realizes that she's in the shower for a whole hour. She loses track of time. She's very...
And then you guys went looking for her, right?
Yes.
Where did you look? Like, did you drive somewhere? Did you walk? Like, where did you go look for her?
Okay. So, after her best friend called me, actually, or I talked to her best friend on the phone, I went back to the school to see, let me check her official attendance. Let me see what's going on. They were already closed. Nobody was at the school. So I searched by backtracking into the school and then coming back out and seeing that there were no kids at the school at all. So then I drove office. Everything was driving. And then I think that response from her teacher at that point. But
did you come back to the apartment at any point yesterday once you realized she was missing?
Stephen was at home waiting for us to get back. And then when I told him something was wrong, she never made it to school, he completely hauled it back to me. And then we all stood there waiting for the cops to show up, and they didn't show up till like 7:30. It took them a while to respond. I think they were looking for other missing kids around the area too. But yeah, no, we did not come back home until we were done with the police. We were done with everything. There was nothing else for us to do except come back home.
It was interesting what she said about, I think they were looking for other missing kids in the area too, because Stefan Stearns had said to his father when he was telling his dad that she'd gone missing, he told his father that there were loads of kids go missing in that area, and it was actually true. It's actually true. Strange, isn't it? But then it makes you think, well, you know, why drop Madeline off in an area that was so dangerous that there were all kids going missing all the time? But apparently that actually is true, because they looked into it, and there are a lot of sex offenders in that area, loads, living near a school. Which I thought if you were a registered SEX offender, you weren't allowed to live near a school. But apparently when they looked into it, yeah, there's loads. And that was true, what Stefan had told his father, that a lot of children go missing around that area. Hopefully, most of them turn up again.
Where's her phone when all of this was happening?
With me.
How did you get the phone if you never came back here?
I took it with me to go pick her up from school. I was going to give it to her when she got in the car and be like, listen, you forgot your phone again, and let her play on it.
Uh-huh.
I'll do that sometimes when she forgets it. I bring the phone with me and I just give it to her afterwards. But I had brought it with me to go pick her up from school.
Okay. And you works where?
I'll get you the address exactly.
Yeah. And then did you at any point check her phone out while you had it?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Okay. Actually, I started looking, but I could not concentrate on reading anything. I was too panicked and too worried. I handed the phone to my sister.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one, and my niece. They both started going through her texts. I saw her texts.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing seemed weird. No weird random people. Everyone is someone I was familiar with or had heard about.
Mm-hmm.
They checked her.
There you go. She's saying no weird random people sending a text, but the weird random person was the person living in her house, or that she'd sent her off to bed with. So it's like she's sort of aware in one way, but she's just never. I honestly think she's just almost thick, like to not even if you didn't want to believe that your partner, would be interested in your daughter, there'd still be a part of you that wouldn't be quite sure. I know they'd been together for a long time, but she was 13. She wasn't. It's like 13 years old. She shouldn't be sleeping in the bed with a grown man, any grown man, really. I mean, it's really even a bit icky if he was a biological father, isn't it, really, at 13?
Roblox. They
Mm-hmm.
checked her Discord. I checked her Discord as well. There was nothing weird.
Nothing weird.
One of the police officers taught me to look at deleted text messages.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at those as well. They were random text messages deleted. They weren't anything.
Do you remember where you were when you were looking at her phone?
Yes.
Which is where?
Let me see. Is it okay if I call her?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll get the exact address.
And then while she answers, were you guys, when you guys were looking for her, did you guys keep looking for her in the Hunters Creek area or somewhere else?
Hunters Creek area.
Okay. Did you guys come back here at any point?
No.
What time did you guys come back home?
Oh. Hold on a second. What time did we come back? That was a very good question. I was gonna say it was like somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock p.m.
Did you guys go back out after that?
Stefan went back out.
And this was last night, right?
Yes.
Okay. Where was after this?
With me.
Okay. Did you leave the house at any point with her phone after this?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
Hold on. No, I think it's been home all day today, too.
It's been home all day today?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
What time did the police take her phone?
Oh, just kidding. Yeah, they took it. I don't have it anymore. What time did he take the phone?
Yeah, that was odd, wasn't it? She said, "Oh, just kidding, just kidding." What does she mean then? Because she'd forgotten even that the policeman had taken the bloody phone. She, honest to God, how she holds down a job, I don't know. And I thought I had a bad memory. God, if you worried you're coming down with dementia, bloody hell, I think she's got no chance.
Stefan went back out.
And this was last night, right?
Yes.
Okay. Where was after this?
With me.
Okay. Did you leave the house at any point with her phone after this?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
Hold on. No, I think it's been home all day today, too.
It's been home all day today?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
What time did the police take her phone?
Oh, just kidding. Yeah, they took it. I don't have it anymore. What time did he take the phone? I've made so many phone calls today and seen so many people today that I
was it
don't
light
know.
out or dark out?
It was light out.
It was still
Detective
light.
Hunt still yeah, it was during the daytime.
And then but other than that, her phone was here all day.
In the morning, yes.
Did you guys take the phone anywhere other than when Detective Hunt took the phone?
I think it's been home all day. I don't think I left the house with it.
Okay. Did Stefan have access to the phone?
I'm sorry, I took my medicine, so I feel a little species. I think I've had it with me. I think it's been with me.
Okay. Did you go through her phone today?
Yes.
Okay. Where was that at?
Here.
And what were you looking for at that time?
To see if there was anything else. What we couldn't access on Monday night was Roblox. So my niece came over and logged into her Roblox and checked out messages. But then my sister was also looking through her phone to see if there was anything.
Here at the house?
Yes.
And that was today?
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys have her account information as far as like her iCloud and all that stuff? Or is it just on her phone?
I've had a hard time logging into it before when I was trying to get her a new phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if I can log in to her iCloud. I think it's all on her phone.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because they took the phone and they downloaded it, right? They can see like if somebody tries to access her accounts and stuff like that. So if you guys do have access to anything, if you guys can refrain from like logging back in.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
So it doesn't look like if she tries to like access her accounts from like somewhere else, that way we can track that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So they're asking if you can, just try not logging into any more of her accounts so that when he's going through the phone, it doesn't look like she's trying to log on from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything else that they wanted us to clarify?
Did you find the address to your?
Sorry, let me call her again.
Or what's the name of it?
Oh, if I could remember her business name, I don't know.
What kind of business?
It's an insurance business. I think Advanced Insurance something group. And then I know that you've been with us for the most part of the day, right?
Yes.
We have, I want to say maybe like 40 people out here, okay? Between us and Kissimmee. And we're all, going to be working basically overnight and throughout the day tomorrow until we, okay? Tonight, what we're going to do is, I know we already secured your house, right? We asked everybody to leave. So another thing that I'm going to ask.
So I think by now they must have seen Madeline in the CCTV in the car with Stefan looking as if maybe she's deceased, because they've asked everyone to leave the house. They're going to secure the house. This new detective, now the missing persons unit, they're more serious. Reminds me a bit of Samantha Murphy. Do you remember when it changed from being the police department that were dealing with it, then the missing persons unit came in, and that was it. Then after that, everything started accelerating. So I don't think Stefan and Jenn were obviously expecting to go home that night, but they couldn't.
Is if you guys can find somewhere else to stay for the night, because we're gonna have Kissimmee out here at your apartment for the rest of the night, because the people that come and like take pictures and all that other stuff are not going to respond until the morning. Okay, so nobody can go into the house for the rest of the night until the house gets, we need to take pictures and do other stuff with the house. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
And unfortunately, because you guys have such a big apartment, it's not something that only one person does. Like, we don't do that, right? We have our forensics unit come out. And it's not something that one person can do by herself. So she has to wait until people come in, because they're on call after midnight, right? So she has to wait for the other people to come in the morning, and then they're all going to come in as a unit and try to get it done as quick as possible.
Okay. I need to go back into the house.
Mm-hmm.
I have medication that I have to take
Mm-hmm.
in order to be like normal.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a possibility that I can go back in there and get my meds?
Yes. Give me a few minutes.
Oh my God, so she has got medication she needs to take so she can be normal. God knows what she's like without a medication. She's not too clever with a medication.
And then we'll try to figure out how we can get your medication. Okay, but that's something that we can definitely get. Okay? Does it make sense what I'm telling you?
Yes. I just don't know what we're gonna do about finding a place to go, but okay.
And then, because lost in Stefan's car, we're also going to tow his car.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I think Jen's realising here that it's coming to much more serious. It just, they're locking the house up. Everyone's had to leave the house. They're going to tow his car. It's all starting to gear up, isn't it?
Do you have any questions about anything that I'm telling you? Okay, so from now on, it'll probably be me getting in touch with you, okay? Not Detective Hunt. Okay? Okay. Do you understand everything that we discussed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I get your direct number?
Yes.
Job address, if I remember it correctly, is 13550 Village Park Lane, Suite
125.
Okay.
In Orlando, Florida.
That's in
Hunters Creek.
Hunters Creek, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Village Park Drive, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And 135.
Yes.
Is that like an apartment complex?
It's a business building. I don't know. It's a building with a lot of business and offices inside.
And when did you say you were there?
I got there around 4. Well, see, I left and came back. So 4:45. I got there, and I think I stayed until they had left.
Were you there today?
No.
Is there one would be anywhere near that area today?
No, I don't think so. It's been with me. Oh, Detective Hunt went back to that office. I'm so sorry, and he had her phone.
Okay. He had her phone at that time.
Yeah.
Why did he go back to that office?
Because my uncle had walked the path along the trail, and he had found a wallet with not an ID, but like credit cards and something that had somebody's state on it. So he went to pick it up to see if it was of any interest.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you my business card. I'm still here for a little bit longer. I'm gonna talk to Stefan one more time. There was like a few things that we needed to clarify with him, and then we're gonna, like, me physically, after I get done talking to Stefan, I'm gonna try to go get rest, right? Because we're gonna continue to do all this.
Yeah.
There's other detectives that are coming from my unit. Okay. So like there's always gonna be somebody here.
Okay.
So just because I physically am not here, don't think that we're not physically working on this. We have a lot of people in our unit, right? So we're taking like shifts. And then the people we have violent crimes out here as well. And they're here till 4 a.m. So I don't want you to think that like, just because I'm leaving that we're not still actively working on this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they are here till 4 a.m. and then the day shift people that also work violent crimes come in around that same time. So they're going to take over. So like we have like people working till a certain time and then other people coming and taking over. Okay. So like I said, just because I physically am not here doesn't mean that we're not still working on something. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, I don't remember if Detective Tagler asked, but yesterday when you guys were out looking, do you remember what time you were out looking till?
So yesterday,
No, of course she doesn't remember. She can't remember, what she did 10 minutes ago. It's like that Finding Nemo, that character on there, it just forgets. I can't remember that fish that just forgets instantly. That's what she's like, Jenn Soto. She can't remember what she did 10 minutes ago.
I stayed in the office. My family went out searching.
Which office?
1355. Yeah.
You stayed until what time?
I'm gonna say somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock. I left and then I came home.
You came straight here.
Yeah.
And then who was out? Your family was out looking?
Yeah, but I think they all stopped when. Actually, I'm not sure. One of my uncles might have kept searching along the trail, but I'm not sure until what time he was out. My dad as well.
What about Stefan?
Stefan went out sometime in the middle of the night and went searching, cruising around to see if he could figure out where she might be.
What car was he driving?
My car.
Was anybody driving Stefan's car?
No, just Stefan.
And what time was he out?
I have no idea. I fell asleep, but I know he drove my car because when I got into it, I said, "Oh, the seats adjusted."
She fell asleep again. She just keeps falling asleep, doesn't she? It's strange, you know. I don't. So it's like I know she's on medication, but just makes you wonder, doesn't it? That's about the third time she said, "Oh well, I just fell asleep," or "Oh, I just fell asleep." She just keeps falling asleep.
Did you drive my car? He goes, yeah. Remember I said I was going to take a drive tonight to go search for her because he does have like insomnia. He can't sleep at night sometimes, and especially like that's what's going on right now. But I'm not sure what time he may have come in or out. But if you guys look at my gate clicker, you need that to come in the front gate. You can see what times he may have come in and out.
Okay. I don't think I have anything else for you. We're gonna clear some things with Stefan, and then I will let you know before I head out.
Okay.
Okay. Do you promise that everything you said today is true?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Ending the recording at 009.
So, anyway, that's where we are so far. So, as I say, I think there'll be lots of, lots of information coming out. So, of course, the latest information, which we haven't got time to hive on, which we haven't got time to look at. Someone's just sent me a video, actually, but let me see. Yeah, I was watching this video earlier. So this is there's a video or the audios come out of the of Stefan's parents speaking, but that's a really long audio. I don't know how we're going to do that, and we're not going to do it tonight. But you know, we could have one long marathon live, you know, where we like get your provisions in and we're going to listen to all this audio, or maybe do it in bits. I don't know, but it's very interesting because these are his parents. When you hear them talking, you just can see why, you know, he's just talk about enabling. He's been enabled by his parents. Or, you know, maybe that's unfair. Maybe they just couldn't do anything about him. I don't know. He's just Stefan Stearns, you know, a man of nearly 40, just sitting at home, not working, having his phone bill paid by his parents, being bailed out by his parents, you know, playing video games, and, you know, that's how he was on Madeline's wavelength mentally, I think. You know, his wavelength was the same as Madeline's from when she was little, because he's just a man baby, you know, and his parents have unfortunately not known how to deal with that. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult, but at some point they probably should have made him start paying his own way before he got to nearly 40 years old. So I know it's finished now, Chumba. Okay, so oh, you mean the other one? When I do the other one, yeah, but it depends. I always tend to speed up Seth Rogers when he talks, because he speaks very, very slow. So I'll have a listen to it and see. Yeah. But even sped up, it's going to be hours. Or maybe the trouble is, if I have to sit and listen to it and pick out the relevant bits, you know, it's all relevant, isn't it? So maybe we'll do it in installments. I don't know. I'll think about it, because I've also got this all this information about Micah Miller and, you know, giant prick pasta. Good old JP. We haven't talked about him for a while. Of course, he's made a deal. Him and Micah's family, they have made a deal. But the affidavit, I've got somebody sent me the affidavit. Just, you know, he's just an absolute tosser, that guy. You know, they're supposed to be a pastor, supposed to be a man of God. You know, but so that's another thing. So yeah, got lots of things. Anyway, at least we can't say we're short of things to talk about, can we? because that's besides other things that come up, you know, just in news and things. Anyway, thanks for being here with me, listening to that. It gives us a little bit of an insight, doesn't it, into Jenn, you know, and sort of, I hope she's okay, to be honest, because I think you know, I know a lot of people hate Jenn and think she's done this and she's done that. I can't help but feel a little bit sorry for her, to be honest. But anyway, there you go. Okay, so I'll see you really soon in the next video. Oh, I'll tell you what I am going to do before we finish. I'm going to light the candle for Maddie. Poor Madeline. Still, when I look at the pictures of her, I can't get my head around the fact that this, you know, it's another child, isn't it, that's not here anymore. You know, and nobody was there for her. Nobody was there for her to help, and nobody. Very sad. Anyway, I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, as always, may your God go with you. Now I've got to find my little video. Bye.